welcome you into Toyota Stadium here in Frisco, Texas today as the Dallas Cup Gordon Jago Supergroup semifinals commence with a matchup from Botafogo out of Brazil and St. Louis City here out of MLS Next. Ryan Figert in the booth alongside Garrett Melser. And Garrett, we've seen this Botafogo team already once, and they are, of course, the defending champions here in the Supergroup, looking to continue their strong form in the semifinal tonight.
Absolutely. Super impressive form during the group stage. 2 wins and 1 draw and scored 3 goals in every single outing. This team likes to attack. They're not as much worried about defending, so I expect to see goals once again from this side.
Well, as the two teams take the field here at Toyota Stadium, we'll step aside for a brief moment for the national anthems. We'll have lineups and kickoff for you on the other side of this break. Just moments away from kickoff here from Toyota Stadium, and we'll take you through the starting 11. First for St. Louis City and head coach Luis Salguero. In net, it's Brady Cochrane. Across the back four, we've got Emi Chavez, Stone Marion, Christian Nobo, and Cole Schramm. Midfield 5 across from left to right, Mateo Sevens, Alex Drunt, Trip Clancy, Yu Ota, Sammy Goldstein, and up top, Jojo Adamitis, who scored the goal against Sao Paulo. That meant that St. Louis will get a chance here as the highest finishing second-place team in the Supergroup group stage. Garrett, on the other side, we've got Botafogo, who we've seen once before at the Cotton Bowl. Take this one off, and I'll let you talk through the starting 11, starting with Mateus Lima in goal.
Yep, Mateus Lima. In front of him, the back four, Gustavo Gisto, Eric Lira, and Danilo. In front of them in the midfield, it's Marcelo Mauricio and Pedro Martins. The front four starts with Vitinho, the number 10, Ivan Molina, alongside Juninho. And up top, Samuel Alves, the number 9, who had a brace last time out.
And for Botafogo, we saw them against Aston Villa at the Cotton Bowl. And Garrett, they play a attacking style of play, front-footed in the press, and really they forced those mistakes that led to them getting that 3-1 victory to kick off group stage play.
Yeah, they didn't really have a super discernible style or system, but what they were very good at is capitalizing on mistakes and then doing their very, very best in the dark arts, shall we say. They were very good at milking the clock and slowing the game down and playing it on their terms. And credit to them, that's what winning tournaments oftentimes comes down to.
Looks like the captains on either side. Danilo for Botafogo and Stone Marion for St. Louis. Meeting with our referees, who today are Eduardo Hernandez, Ryan Linskog, Viviana Diaz, and Dorian Del Toro. St. Louis in the navy tops. Looks like they're going to move from left to right here in the first half. White shorts, white socks. And Brady Cotrain in all yellow headed down to the goal over on the left. Botafogo, no change strip for them. They stay in the black and white stripes that they've made famous over the last 100 years in Brazil. They'll move from right to left with Mateus Lima in all green in goal down to our right. Here are two very different ways to make it to the semifinal. We've seen the goals flying in with the Botafogo matches, a couple of 3-3 draw and 2 3-1 wins in the group stage. For St. Louis City, they've only scored 2 goals, but they made those 2 goals count for 6 points, and that's why they get a chance here in the semis.
Yeah, it's all about their back line. They kept 2 shutouts to start the tournament before a 3-0 loss to a very talented Philadelphia Union side. But keeping 2 shutouts is a great way to kick off a tournament, and that's while they're here. It'll be super interesting to see if this high-flying attack of Botafogo can put a few past this back line of St. Louis City. Not
just in Dallas Cup play, but the St. Louis team notable for keeping clean sheets in MLS Next play as well. They've given up less than a goal per game in their league this spring. Final huddles for either side. St. Louis breaks it out to our left, and they head out into a 4-1-4-1 formation that we expect to see. Jojo Adamitis leading the line, and Trip Clancy, Garrett, playing an important role in the heart of midfield as that number 6. Very, very important. He's the only holding midfielder in this 4-1-4-1 formation that Luis Salguero is fielding. He's wearing number 7. A lot rests on his shoulders to be that player who can progress the ball from the back line to the attacking players, but also out of possession, be the main guy who wins the ball back for his side. The other goal scorer in the tournament so far for St. Louis, Mateo Sevens, expect to set up on the left wing. Plenty of goals in the Botafogo team so far. Samuel Alves is going to get us underway, the number 9. He had 2 goals last time out against Real Salt Lake. St. Louis, in just their second appearance here in the Dallas Cup Super Group, looking to become the first American team to win it since FC Dallas in 2017, and just the 3rd American team to ever win the Gordon Jago Super Group. Botafogo looking to repeat as champions. We are underway here in the first semifinal, and straight onto the front foot, Botafogo putting the St. Louis team under pressure. Alves whistled for maybe a high arm there, an elbow in the face of the defender, and that's the first free kick going St. Louis's way. Samuel Alves, the number 9, not only does he score goals, but he throws himself around. We saw him being an absolute nuisance against the Aston Villa team we saw in the opening game 3 days ago. No surprise, he's the first one to put a foul out there. And at the other end, another physical coming together, but St. Louis able to maintain possession in the attacking half here. I've got a throw just in front of the Botafogo bench. Cole Schramm will take the right back, goes back for Christian Nobo. Nobo keeps it moving to the captain, Marion. Left-footed diagonal out to the far side, looking for the run of Savins. He tracks it down, but the flag goes up. Just a step offside there in the early action. You see there St. Louis City trying to go very, very direct. Very different from the type of attack than we saw Botafogo defend against Aston Villa. Much slower, looking to get out wide and keep the ball on the ground. We'll have to see how those back 4 defend that if we see St. Louis try to go with those over-the-top balls more often. Marion again lifting it up into the sky. Challenge for the ball there. Adamitis goes flying in. See who can come away with the second ball in the middle of the field. Good work from Pedro Martins. coming off a goal, a late equalizer against the Houston Dynamo Academy. And the press this time from St. Louis, able to knock it out, but it'll be a goal kick for Botafogo.
St. Louis seems to be pressing quite high here. It's good work from Sammy Goldstein, closing down the back line of Botafogo, trying to pin them in. Unlucky for it to bounce off him for a goal kick.
Lima rolls it out to Eric. Maybe seeing a little bit of a different shape here for Botafogo. Looks like they've got 3 center backs in there. We saw them play 4-4-2 in the opening game. And Danilo, who was in the middle of the back four, is now shifted out wide on the right. At least he's playing a different role so far today. For the head coach of Botafogo is Augusto Vigi. Nice hold-up play through the middle, and a foul won by Ivan Molina there.
And it does look like a 3-back system for Botafogo. You and I were both surprised that Gabriel Felipe, the right back with the David Luiz style hair for Botafogo, was not playing because he really stood out in their opening game. Surprised he didn't make the lineup once again, but perhaps that's less about him and his performances and more about a change of system for this semifinal.
Yeah, and if anyone knows about how to manage the squad over the course of a Dallas Cup week, of course it is Botafogo, the defending champions. Potential for 5 games in 7 days if they do advance to Sunday's final. Everybody can't play 90 minutes on that kind of cadence. Without Felipe, looks like they've shifted the shape completely. And it's Danilo to lift it down the line. Ball over the top on the far side. Looking to track it down, it's Vitinho. Appeals for a corner, but instead a goal kick. And Cochran will retrieve the extra ball to take.
Great covering there from Stone Marion. Just putting the attacker under pressure, clearing the ball out off the attacker as well, winning his side a goal kick.
And going short, Cochran forced into going long. Header won by Danilo, who's made a first-team appearance already for Botafogo. That's the quality that they brought with them to this year's Dallas Cup, looking to repeat as champions. And cannons off the St. Louis player, and Danilo looking to show some flair on the ball, drops the shoulder and wins a free kick. A little slow to get to his feet after he was tripped up by Savins.
There are a few different players who are quite slow to get up in Botafogo's opening game. That was with a lead, however, so it did make a lot of sense, but looks like Danilo is just fine.
Plays short, knocking it back and forth there with Juninho. Here's Juninho with some space to run into. Going to hit the switching ball. Easily picked off there by Schrem, who was pinched in from right back. Now he gets it ahead to Goldstein wide on the right. Goldstein 40 yards from goal on the near side. Little slip on the ball, but managed to maintain possession. Schrem unable to keep hold of that one. And now going the other way, Alves battling for position and winning a throw for his side. They're taken quickly by Gisto. Alves popping up again wide left. Gisto into Juninho. Back out wide to the left back on the overlap. Great ball in towards the back post, and an opportunity there. I believe it was Ivan Molina. Oh, sorry, make it Vitinho at the back post. Unable to steer that one on target.
Well, really good close control and good play from Botafogo here on the near sideline. Just a couple of 1-2s, a couple of triangles, getting out of pressure, opening the space near the end line for the cross, and not dealt with well by goalkeeper Brady Cochran.
I actually saw the replay. I think he got an all-important touch, actually, to keep that away from a potential tap-in at the back post. He didn't fully deal with it. Still a chance there for Vitinho, but without that touch, probably sitting here with a 1-0 scoreline. St. Louis now looking to respond. Goldstein hits the diagonal out to the far side for Savins. Savins here, a moment in transition for City. Gets it back out wide, overlapping run from Chavez. His cross blocked, spinning out for a corner. Kept alive there and sent down the field by Vitinho. Volleyed forward, bouncing ball in the middle of the field. Alves again, not convincing, going to ground there. We've seen how physical he can be. And the referee, I think, did a good job there of managing that situation. Comes out for a St. Louis throw.
Well, Alves does so much work off and on the ball, oftentimes running down lost causes, throwing his body around. We see that instance once again there, putting a body on the St. Louis defender. Unfortunately, not winning a foul that time, as you correctly said.
Oh, loose pass in midfield there, intended for Clancy, picked off, and now going the other way. Janino looking to get him behind, but Cochran out off his line, able to intercept and play out through Chavez. Chavez head up, looking for options, plays it down the line for Sevens. And the goal against Toluca in a 1-0 win. They made their 2 goals in the group stage count for 6 points in total, and only one second-place finisher in the Super Group manages to make it through to the semifinals, and that was St. Louis City. Efficiency was at its peak for them in the group stage. Here's a diagonal looking for the run of Goldstein. He's going to test Lima out off his line, and a couple steps outside of the box, puts a left foot through it. Appeals for a foul in the middle. Not enough for Eduardo Hernandez, our official, but St. Louis recovers possession.
It's the second time we've seen a fullback from St. Louis trying that long diagonal in behind the back line, in between the goalkeeper and that back line. Both times were good looks, just didn't quite come off, and it's well done from Lima, spotting the danger quickly and getting out of his box to get the clearance.
Gisto takes the throw for Botafogo on the near side. Repelled initially by Schramm. Second ball picked up and sent down the field, where Alves is called for a second or third foul already in the opening 10 minutes against the Botafogo number 9. Now we see them back in a more traditional 4-4-2. Seems to be a shape in flux for the Brazilian side. Here's a battle for the ball along the near side. Winning the header there, Lira. And a late whistle there. A foul drawn by Ota. And this is an opportunity for St. Louis to get the ball in the box, maybe create that first shot on target.
It's good work from Ota here, just holding his ground, knowing the contact is going to come in, and it certainly does from Pedro Martins, who just puts a shoulder in his back, and certainly a foul right in front of the referee. You're rarely going to get away with that one.
Couple of options over the ball, Junt and Goldstein. Junt stepping away, offering an option maybe if they want to go short. Sammy Goldstein with a 2-player wall for Botafogo, and his teammates gathered at the back post. 2 arms raised for the St. Louis number 10, whipped in low, bouncing ball, difficult to deal with, but it is hooked clear by Botafogo. Second ball sent in all the way through, arrives at the back post here for Junt. Shot on target is well saved by Lima. Back out to Junt. Goldstein now seems to be shifty along this right side. Couldn't get the cross in without the block from Pedro Martins, but immediately into the pressure. Goldstein wins it back and looks like he's won a corner as well.
Great work from Sammy Goldstein on the inline.
And they go short as we're going to look at the replays. Ball whipped in towards the back post. Lima through traffic makes the catch. And he looks to spring the counterattack quickly. It's a foot race to the ball here. And good work there from Emi Chavez, who's the last man back for St. Louis. That's the first real foray forward for City. And the first shot on target for either side goes their way as Lima's forced into that low save at the near post. Flicked forward, another aerial duel. This ball is still bouncing as it's picked up in the middle by Martins, lifted out wide left. Janino dancing on the ball. Here's Gisto from left back. Gisto low cross, repelled at the near post, and now Botafogo have a chance from the corner.
Really clever underlapping run from Gustavo Gisto there. Saw Janino dancing on the ball, 2 defenders, sees the space Gisto does, just goes into the box, gets an early cross in, but it's well defended by that St. Louis back line for a corner here.
Coming across to take it, Ivan Molina, Venezuelan Youth International, raises 2 arms here as he prepares an out-swinging service from the near side. Plenty of air underneath this one towards the back post. Headed goalwards and towards the back post. And well repelled there by Cochran. The offside flag goes up anyway. But a first big moment for the St. Louis City #1.
It's a good delivery here. Deep towards the back post, and Botafogo had 2 players. They get highest, and I'm not sure where the offside flag comes in, really.
Yeah, Alves was offside, but he wasn't the one that went for the ball, unless they say that he was maybe making himself a screen for the St. Louis defenders. But either way, it was well saved.
Marcelo Mauricio was there. Does get the shot on target before the whistle goes in. He did score a goal from a similar scenario off the second ball, off of a set piece in the opening game. Almost got a second one there.
Slip on the ball ends up fortuitous for Botafogo, and now Alves can show his speed along the left side. Sliding tackle is a good one from Nobo. Both St. Louis center backs called into action here in the opening 12 minutes.
Really good clean tackle from Christian Nobo there, and he had to win it because he was pretty isolated there on the sideline.
Alves flicks it towards Gisto, and this time St. Louis content to concede a corner. And they got a first look at what Botafogo is trying to do from the corner kick. Lob it up towards the back post, and they do have plenty of big targets in there, Garrett, particularly when they're playing with these 3 center backs in the lineup.
That they do, and they scored 2 goals off of set-piece scenarios in their opening game against Aston Villa. We know they're dangerous from these type of positions. In tournaments like these where there's tired legs, oftentimes you do see breakthroughs from corner kick routines.
Targets again at the back post. This time they offer something short, but it's whipped in right on top of the 6 and headed off target by Alves. So the height advantage for Botafogo looking like a potential route to goals in this semifinals. We've played 13 minutes of scoreless soccer.
A very different type of delivery that time. The first was deep to the back post, looking for the first header towards the near post. Again, this one more of a traditional in-swinging effort. And it was Samuel Alves rising highest, just couldn't quite knot it on target. But Botafogo again looking super dangerous from any set piece in the St. Louis attacking third.
Cochran launching in this one long. Botafogo win the first and second ball here. Now settle in midfield for Mauricio. He's going to get it out wide for Vitinho. Vitinho, early cross in, looking for Alves over his head. Breaks from Molina at the backside. His left-footed ball is blocked out, and it's the 3rd corner kick in a matter of minutes for the Brazilians.
Well, Botafogo really piling on the pressure now. Early in the game, it seemed like both teams were just trying to figure each other out. No one really took the game by the scruff of the neck, but now Botafogo piling on the pressure, forcing shots in, and being rewarded with set pieces that they're obviously so dangerous at.
Molina has been at the controls now for all 3 corner kicks as the referee is going to have a discussion on some pushing and shoving going on inside the penalty area. And on the quarter-hour mark here of this first semifinal, whipped in towards the back post. Big header, bigger save from Cochran, spreading himself wide to the left. As Botafogo continue to threaten from the corner kicks. This time it was the St. Louis #1 who came up with the all-important save.
Almost a mirror image of the corner kick just a few moments ago. This time, Samuel Alves does direct his header on target. It's a fantastic save down to his left from Beatty Cochran to keep this score 0-0.
St. Louis maybe had a chance to counter, but they immediately turned it over, and now it bounces back their way in the middle of the field. Looking to go on a run to lead the break was Ota, but he's dispossessed. First to the ball there is Cole Schramm. And nice work from him against 2 Botafogo players to come away with it. Ota unable to connect with Adamitis, who's had very little in terms of touches in this opening 15 minutes. Now here's the opposite #4, Lira, driving forward from left to right. Went to ground. Referee waves everybody up. Pedro Martins recovers possession for Botafogo. Wide now with Molina. Here's Juninho on the left. Juninho trying to split the double team, breaks back for him. Right-footed curling shot is off target, but not far away as the Brazilians continue to threaten the St. Louis goal.
Yeah, Juninho so dangerous in those 1v1 situations. A 1v2 that time, but you see him kind of jinking right to left. Tries to go in between the defenders a little lucky with the ball, how it bounced back to him, and he looks for that curling effort, trying to find the top corner, just hits it a little bit too hard and gets underneath it a bit too much, sails over and safely out for a goal kick.
St. Louis just need a minute or so of possession to try and quell this attacking momentum for Botafogo, but they're doing so well, are the Brazilians, just to win it back and keep the pressure on. Even when St. Louis tries to go direct, tries to go long, they've got height, they've got physicality along the back line. But here's a giveaway and maybe a chance on the counter. Goldstein, heavy touch, presented too much of that one to Eric. And a big sliding tackle from Pedro Martins made sure that there was no counter-attacking opportunity for City. Throw into the middle of the field, now back out wide with Goldstein, couldn't control it. And it feels like St. Louis, who are playing in their first Dallas Cup Super Group semifinal and just their second ever appearance at the tournament, maybe a little bit shell-shocked by the physicality and the intensity of this Botafogo team early on. They did have their moment, they got a shot on target, but since then it's been all black and white. There's a ball lifted over the Botafogo back line. Again, you can see Danilo very assured with what he's trying to do, and he skips past the St. Louis defender. Now fires a pass between the lines, gives it away. He is out of position now, and they'll try and exploit that. Driving up the far side, going to ground, and winning a free kick. Some good work there from Mateo Savins, and particularly in the attacking half, winning those fouls is going to be very important for St. Louis to try and quell this momentum.
Yeah, well done by Savins there, just taking his defender 1v1, kicking it past him and kind of waiting for the contact. I think he knew his team could use a little bit of a break, and the set piece will allow them to do that, as they've been under just so much pressure for the last 5 minutes, near constant pressure from this Botafogo side.
Now a chance maybe to drop the ball in the box. I mean, Chavez looks like he's standing over this, the left-footed, left back, raises the right arm and whips it in with pace towards the back post. It's an unmarked man, and it's Lima with another big save. This time the flag goes up against Stone Marion. But set pieces look like an avenue to goals on both sides now.
Absolutely, that's great delivery from Emi Chavez, the left back. Just put it in such a dangerous area. Curling effort, plenty of pace on the ball. All it needed was a touch to direct it on target. Does force a good save from Mateus Lima, but the offside flag to their rescue regardless.
We talked about the high-flying attack of Botafogo. They have conceded quite a few goals as well, 5 goals in total. Just 3 conceded for St. Louis, all of those coming in the one game against Philadelphia. There's a nice ball through the lines, but well read by Cole Schramm. Gets it back for Cochran. He's had to be big in these opening 20 minutes. See if his team can stabilize now.
And just looking at these two teams, it's clear Botafogo has the physical edge. They're a much bigger side. They're doing a lot more running. It's really going to be up to St. Louis to pass the ball, make them work, and just try to win that technical battle to create chances. But so far, it's been really, really tough out there, and that's a great tackle.
Oh,
I thought it was.
Foul given against Juninho. It was 7-on-7 there as Trip Clancy was on the ball. A nice layoff from Adamitis. And just as he was going to hit the ball in behind, here comes the sliding tackle.
And we see it again here. To me, it looks like he traps the ball. And
you can see the referee's not really looking there. He sees the reaction. He sees the aftermath.
Yeah, Juninho unlucky because he does win the ball first, kind of traps it underneath him, and the St. Louis player goes flying over, and the referee might want that one back if he saw it again. But.
And he's got conversation for both sides here. And it is always a risky one going in from behind, but you could see instead of going through the man, he did reach around and stop the ball. And not only did that stop the St. Louis attack, but they were about to have a potential 2v2 going the other way. A big swing there and benefits St. Louis on this occasion as they've got a free kick in the center circle. And they do hit that diagonal ball out to the far side. Easily controlled by Danilo, sent down the field, and now here's a chance to run in some open space, but good work from Marion just to repel that and allow his teammates to get back defensively as Juninho had ahead of steam.
Every time Juninho gets the ball, you know what he wants to do. He wants to take you on 1v1. That time just trying to go around them. Basically, they kick and run, but well defended there just to get the ball out of play and in the danger.
into the corner of the 18-yard box, and Alves goes down wanting a foul. Referee says there's not enough in it, and really both players had a fistful of each other's jersey. Great punt from Cochran out to the near side. Ota popping up wide. Here's a ball in behind now for Adamitis. Adamitis looking for a way past the defender. Eventually he's the one to commit the foul. But pinpoint service from the St. Louis goalkeeper, nearly turning into a chance at the other end.
Yeah, fantastic punt. Probably 60, 65 yards from Brady Cochran out to Yu Ota, who took it down well on his chest and put the ball into space for their number 4, Jojo Adamitis, up top. Just ended up losing his individual duel there. Botafogo get away with an easy free kick right on the edge of their box.
And it's Lima to play short. And they'll switch the point of attack out to the far side. Now opting to come back this way for Herrick. Playing on the left of the back 3 by the looks of things here. Molina can't control it. It's wrestled away from him by Schramm. And now St. Louis looking to combine quickly through the middle of the field. Loose ball, 50-50, pops up in the air. Adamitis wins the header, sets it down for Goldstein. Out wide on the near side. Nice ball in behind here for Ota to the byline. One runner in the middle, cut back ball towards the top of the 6. And you could see Goldstein had intentions to get there, but he was just a couple steps behind the play.
It's a really good ball, actually, from Yu Ota, just a cutback to where there were essentially no defenders from Botafogo. Unfortunately, the 2 trailing runs coming in from St. Louis were just probably a split second too slow.
Schramm with plenty of distance on this throw, and a high kick here whistled against Juninho, who's starting to rack up a couple of those fouls in the middle of the field. St. Louis wanted to go quickly. And honestly, maybe they should have been allowed to, as they would have had a one-on-one chance inside the 18, and no card's been shown here. It was too quickly for the referee's liking, so I'll bring it back.
The referee, I think, felt that the free kick was not taken from where the spot of the foul was. It was only maybe a 1 yard too close to goal, but that can make all the difference. We'll see if St. Louis can create something from here. Situation where either a cross or a shot is certainly in the cards.
Only a 3-man wall is a little surprising for Lima in goal. Stone Marion or Emi Chavez, right foot or left foot, respectfully. Threatening to tap it short. You can see Juninho ready to chase it down. Here it is, shot through traffic, is off target from Emi Chavez as they tried just to change the angle there.
Interesting free kick routine there to change the angle, but the angle was made actually more acute by the touch on the ball. Either way, Botafogo was ready to pounce right when the ball was touched into play.
Oh, good work there from Juninho. Pops it past his man. Now still in a fight for it. Right around halfway, wins a foul. Can't say Juninho has been anything less than involved in this game through 25 minutes.
Certainly, I think he wanted a yellow card shown to Trip Clancy there for pulling him back. Referee perhaps a bit lenient this time.
Combination up the right side is a good one. And here's a chance now for Vitinho along the right side. Low cross sent in, looking for Alves, repelled away at the near post. Helped along, further clear for St. Louis. It's Pedro Martins winning it back for Botafogo in the middle. And Emi Chavez helping them break that Botafogo pressure initially. Again, the Brazilians quick to counter press, quick to win it back. And they've had probably a good 70% of the possession through 25 minutes. Going all the way back to Lima, keeping it moving here. Martins out to Gisto. Back for Eric. Eric inviting the pressure and now hitting the switching ball. You can see Danilo waving his team forward as he brings it forward from the back. Left-footed diagonal. Back out to the near side for Gisto. Header won there by Cole Schramm, who was fully committed to the tackle, threw his body and got ahead to the ball, knocking it out for a Botafogo throw.
Fully committed and absolutely had to win the ball, but he does well just to get to his head to it first. Out for the throw.
Gisto gets it back after taking the throw. The back heel intended for him is going to spin out once again. Just a couple of yards away from the corner flag. Botafogo with another throw in. Gisto into the middle looking for Alves. Bouncing ball on the edge of the 18. Wrestled away from Molina. Send it down the field. Adamitis banging shoulders there with Eric away from the ball. Possession stays with Botafogo. Gisto along the near side. Always been on the same page as his teammate in number 8 there, Molina. And again, gave it away. Here's some good work from Schramm. Steps past one tackle, now gets it wide for Goldstein. Goldstein was active in those first 10 minutes. Haven't seen much of him since. Lost possession there on the halfway line. St. Louis concede another throw.
Botafogo doing a great job just getting numbers around the ball. Goldstein on the run, receives the ball right about midfield, tries to get his head up to look for passing options, and all he's met with is 4 black and white shirts right in his face. Just not much you can do as an attacker with that little amount of space.
Moving in here through Lira. First time ball forward from Danilo, gives it away. And Chavez runs himself into trouble. So now he's out of position as they get it wide again for Vitinho on the far side. Vitinho cuts past one, still 2 or 3 defenders on his case, and he loses out and ultimately loses the throw-in. Credit to St. Louis so far. We mentioned the self-inflicted wounds for Aston Villa in that opening game. They've managed to avoid those and threaten in their moments going the other way. Here's Goldstein looking to try and do that once again. Running at his defender, Gisto. Sets it back for Cole Schramm. We'll keep it moving. Jump back wide for Goldstein. Botafogo now back in shape and force St. Louis just to recycle possession. Junt, ball in from the right side. It meets the head of Adamitis. Couldn't steer it goalwards. Fight for the loose ball on the far side. Savins make sure that Danilo doesn't have an easy out there. St. Louis will try and keep Botafogo pinned in their own end.
No chance was created, but it's better and more calm from St. Louis there, just having a little bit of possession in the Botafogo half. We haven't hardly seen that through the first 30 minutes of this game, but allows their back line to rest a bit. Fortunately, this time giving the ball away quite cheaply.
And now right through the middle of the field, Botafogo drive on. Out wide left with Juninho, popping up on the near side now. Juninho, no way past Cole Schramm, who's been up to the task defensively at right back. Now he drives forward, finds a nice ball into the middle for Ota. Ota out to the far side, a lot of pace on that pass, but Savin's able to keep the attack alive. Runners arriving inside the 18. Here's Savin, step over to his right, goes to his left, low cross in, is deflected, and that makes it comfortable for Mateus Lima at the near post.
St. Louis finally finding some joy in the wide areas. Good switch of play that time. The only thing is they probably need to get more numbers in the box once they do have that free space out wide. Botafogo doing a great job of preventing that with a lot of contact off the ball. I'm watching Jojo Adamitis basically in a grudge match every time he tries to run upfield.
And at the other end, the number 9, Sammy Alves for Botafogo, has a shot well off target as he resumed pleasantries with Christian Nobo. I wonder if this conversation with Eduardo Hernandez and the Botafogo backline is about exactly what you spotted, Garrett, that away from the play contact that prevented Adamitis from getting a good position on that counterattack.
I wouldn't be surprised. Essentially, every time he turns out of pressure and looks to make a free run towards the back line, towards the Botafogo goal, he has 2 to sometimes even 3 bodies just getting in his way, pushing him, shouldering him. You don't typically see that off the ball as often. I think the referee is right here to have a little talking to both players and just try to say, cut that out. A little less contact unless the ball is at least somewhere near you.
Herrick is the main recipient of the referee's words here. He steps away. It'll be a St. Louis goal kick as we played over half an hour here. Both teams with opportunities. Really was spells of momentum and pressure in this game. There's an awkward ball lifted in the midfield and maybe a chance for Botafogo from that, but Juninho can't keep it in play. That's one of those self-inflicted wounds that St. Louis City can't afford, especially from their own goal kick. Can't just loft it up to a teammate. Or an opponent, sorry. Chavez looking for options on the throw. Straight into the chest of Adamitis. Sets it down for Clancy. Out of play. Last touch off Danilo for Botafogo. Again into Adamitis as they look to try and unlock their striker, who's had very little joy so far in this game. He's called for the foul this time. Eric back to Lira. Botafogo playing with fire through the middle of the field, but they work it out to Gisto. And now Eric will hit one of those diagonal balls, easily picked off this time by Chavez as he didn't get much air underneath it. Chavez can't find the run of Savins, and it's back with the Brazilian side. Here's Chavez now driving forward from left back into the feet of Adamitis. Both players hit the deck. Not maybe pushing and shoving both ways, according to the referee. Good composure from Cochran at the other end. Restore possession for City. Brady Cochran way out off his line here. We'll start the build up from about 30 yards from goal. Holding the midfield for Junt and back for Marion. Junt through the lines, gives it away in a dangerous spot, and now maybe a chance for Botafogo to break. Pedro Martins chips this one in behind, and here's an opportunity for the opening goal. Chipped past the keeper and rattling the crossbar there. Juninho looking for his third of the tournament, so nearly opening the scoring tonight.
What a chance that was for Juninho. And it's a fantastic ball, just over the top bouncing, and he tries to go for the little dink over the goalkeeper, gets it almost perfectly, just doesn't quite drop quick enough to beat the crossbar. St. Louis very, very lucky not to find themselves 1-0 down after that.
And in the aftermath, a free kick given away by Nobo. And it's in a dangerous area. Ivan Molina created chances from corner kicks. This one much closer, but from the same side. Two arms raised this time. Here comes the left-footed service. Lifted in, top of the 6-yard box, and there's the opening goal. And it does come from the set play. And it's Samu Alves with his third goal of the tournament. Third goal in just a two-game span here, and it's a big one to open the scoring in the semifinal.
Well, no surprise, the opening goal comes off of a set piece. Fantastic delivery again from Molina. He's been doing that all game, and this time, at the third time of asking, Samuel Alves gets his goal with the header. He'd already worried Brady Cochran earlier, forced him into a great save down to his left from a corner kick from a very similar spot, actually, from where that free kick was eventually taken. But he just guides that home with the forehead perfectly. Side netting, far post, 1-0 Botafogo.
Alves just too much to handle in the air in this opening half. Third time he's managed to make the first contact on a set piece. This time he makes it count. And after a two-goal performance against RSL, he is heating up at the right time for the Brazilian club. As there's a St. Louis player down, and that's allowed both teams to regroup in the aftermath of the goal. A full team huddle for St. Louis City. An impromptu water break amidst the celebrations for Botafogo.
Well, the goal comes off a set piece, but make no mistake, Botafogo absolutely deserves the lead. They've been the better team for nearly every minute of the 36 that we've played so far. And it comes right off the back of the best chance of the game, which fell to Juninho, who forced the crossbar into action. And they score off the ensuing free kick.
I haven't got to look at who's the player that stayed down here. Looks like Christian Nobo, the center back, trying to stretch out maybe a cramp. I mentioned how much soccer these two teams have played over the last 6 days. Nobo helped by the training staff off the field here.
Well, it would be a huge loss if you weren't able to continue. As we know, this St. Louis team is here because of their defensive record, and a lot of that is credit to their back line, including Christian Nobo. And he is walking quite gingerly. You wonder if he's going to be able to come back and re-enter this one.
St. Louis substitutes warming up down to our left. Both teams allowed 6 changes with no re-entry here in the Dallas Cup Super Group. Back underway now with Botafogo, a goal to the good. And the momentum with the reigning champions out of Brazil. Cole Schramm picks it up, looking for a throw in close to the halfway line here. Schramm firing it in, looking for Adamitis, who got a touch but couldn't connect there with Ota. And now through the middle of the field, it's lifted out to Janino. And space along the left side in towards Alves. And the ball maybe just behind him. He couldn't get it on target. Looking for 2 goals and as many opportunities.
Fantastic chance for Botafogo to find their second, and it falls to the right man. The goal scorer, Alves, just couldn't quite wrap his left foot around it to get the goal, to get it on frame. Really good cross from Janino to find his number 9.
There's a ball put in behind, foot race to get to it, but Mateus Lima out off his line. Puts plenty of distance behind that clearance, sending it out into touch. Schramm surveying the options here. Eventually, again into Adamitis. Wants a free kick. Not given. Good work again from Schramm. I think he's been the standout player for St. Louis City, the right back in this first half. Here's Ota dancing on the ball in the middle of the field and winning a free kick as he was tugged back and tripped up from behind. And we saw a decent shooting opportunity from the other side on the free kick. We'll see what they have in mind from the opposite side now.
And this one, I think, a little bit more central. You wonder if they'll need to try to change the angle once again or if they can take it directly. Plenty of players around the ball discussing exactly that, I think.
It was Emi Chavez who took the first from the near side with his left foot. Got Alex Junt there as well. So it'll be Chavez with the left, or potentially Ota with the right. 4-man wall, including one laying down behind. Here's Ota towards the top corner. That one rattles the crossbar. Great effort from the St. Louis midfielder, looking to equalize right away. And now both teams have been denied by the crossbar.
Ota's so unlucky there, does everything right. Fantastic hit, curling effort, just doesn't quite get the last second dip to beat the crossbar. And what a chance for St. Louis to even the score in a game where they really haven't had a sniff. But set pieces proving once again to be the difference maker.
And good news for St. Louis is that Christian Nobo's back out there now. They're back to full strength. So the center back's going to try and fight through the pain as we're probably about 5 minutes away from the halftime break. Volleyed forward by Chavez. Adamitis on the turn. Absolutely clobbered as he released it. And this has been a battle within the battle. Adamitis against the center backs for Botafogo. Very physical throughout the opening 40 minutes. And this time it's the St. Louis forward who's won the free kick. He's been called for a couple as well.
Well, credit to Adamitis for continuing to battle because he's had so little to work with in terms of service and getting on the ball. Almost his entire half has been just battling individually and physically with the Botafogo defenders. That time getting the best of them, earning aside another free kick.
Here comes the service from Goldstein towards the back post, nodded up in the air. Botafogo get bodies around the ball. Can't send it too far clear. Still nobody with firm control in the aftermath of the set play. Strong tackle from Gisto. Goes lunging in, comes away with the ball. And important defending there from Goldstein to stop the counter. Even though he can't come away with possession, it looked like there was potentially something on there on the break for Botafogo. Vitinho scored the first goal in the opener for Botafogo. I haven't called his name all too often as they've continued to swap sides between the wingers. Referee going to bring this one back, say the ball was still rolling when St. Louis tried to take it quickly.
No, it was just barely, but the referee did wait about 2 seconds until he saw that St. Louis had a free run to call it, but perhaps just looking to basically call an advantage without actually a foul being had.
Hasn't been a fan of the quickly taken free kicks. You can see St. Louis trying to be creative and catch Botafogo out in those situations. Clancy out to Chavez, wide left for Savins. Last touch out off Botafogo. Technically the home team tonight, coming in as the higher seed, having won their group. 7 points in total for the defending champs. A draw against the Houston Dynamo and wins against Aston Villa and Real Salt Lake. This ball allowed to run all the way through for Mateus Lima. In no hurry to pick it up, as he'd very much like to see that 0 on the St. Louis side of the scoreboard heading into the halftime break. St. Louis keying the pressure, forcing Danilo to go long, but it's good service and it's a nice flick over the top as well. Janino dispossessed, and Clancy comes away with it. Here's Junt on the turn, over to Ota. Ota lifting it over the top. Nice weight on the pass for Savins. He's got runners to his right. Savins entering the 18 along the left side. Low ball towards the back post, and Adamitis thought he was there to tap it home. There was a fistful of jersey for the Botafogo defender, certainly.
There absolutely was, and it's a fantastic ball across the face of goal from Mateo Savins, and I do think that's a foul. I mean, you can see the jersey being pulled from our vantage point in the press box live, and you see it again on the replay. Adamitis so unlucky not to have drawn a penalty there.
Eric, the number 14 for Botafogo, the one involved in the play. And you think, too, if they did call it, it's a penalty, it's a red card as well, because there's no play for the ball. And it's potentially denying an obvious goal-scoring opportunity, but referee didn't think the contact was enough to make that type of decision.
I must say I'm surprised because you see the tug of the jersey, and without that contact, Jojo Adamitis has an easy tap-in, and it's 1-1. I think St. Louis can feel very hard done by in that scenario.
And they are going to be forced now into their first change in this game, as Christian Nobo tried to continue, but Kyle Skaggs is on in his place now in that center back partnership for City.
Well, it's a big loss to lose your center back in a semifinal, especially as we know the defensive record is what St. Louis got here, and that defensive partnership between Stone Marion and Christian Nobo. You just have that understanding, having played next to the guy for a long time, and you wonder if that change now bringing in Kyle Skaggs is going to be the same type of familiarity between those center back partners.
We're 1 minute into 4 added on. May well add that minute back on because we haven't played any soccer so far in stoppage time. Lima going long, flicked on there by Vitinho, foot race to the ball, and Alves is whistled for a foul as Kyle Skaggs is welcome to the game, and that's what he's going to have to quickly get up to the speed. Those battles against the number 9 for Botafogo, the goal scorer on the day. Diagonal from the right foot of Stone Marin, who's shown some good passing range with both feet at the heart of the St. Louis defense. Head up here looking for options. Just keep it moving. Kyle Skaggs, the recent substitute. Out wide for Schramm. Schramm loses his footing, and Gisto immediately able to pounce and win back possession. Putting this ball in behind for the run of Janino. Initially defended, but only as far as Alves. Now back out to Janino. Janino looking to use his speed, get around the outside, but Skaggs going to ground, concedes the corner instead.
Great work from Skaggs there. Coming in cold into this game as the injury substitute. Faced up 1v1 with Janino. Not an easy task, but he established himself well into the game. Well-timed tackle after the corner.
Having lost a center back, you feel it'll be even more difficult for them to defend these corner kicks. They scored from a wide free kick set up by Molina, scored by Alves. Here's Molina again. Whipped in this time towards the near post, and the header off target. Alves running into his own man there. And St. Louis looking to go quickly out towards Goldstein. Easily marshaled out of play.
Well, it wasn't a great header off the corner, but I can't seem to remember a single corner kick from Botafogo where the defensive side got their head first to the ball. Botafogo just seems to win those aerial duels every single time, and that's got to be a big, big worry for the St. Louis team and something they'll probably be talking about at halftime.
Ball on to the feet of Goldstein. Quick combination. John trying to get it back out wide for the number 10. Big sliding tackle from Alves, out for a St. Louis throw. A minute or two left here in first half stoppage time. Botafogo making their first half pressure count through Samuel Alves. St. Louis with opportunities of their own. Here's a ball in behind along the right side. Sammy Goldstein brings it down. Looking for options on the dribble into the 18. Gets it wide now for Schramm. Schramm back for Goldstein. Principal creator in the wide areas for St. Louis. Nothing on this time. He'll just recycle possession through Skaggs. Nice first time ball in the midfield. Lifted back out wide right and kept alive near the corner flag by Schramm. Schramm to the inline for Junt. Cut back ball across the face of goal. And a really nice team move there, but nobody to apply the finishing touch.
Yeah, probably St. Louis's best team move of the half, right at the end of the half. And it's a great just little reverse slip-through ball from Schramm, who's been the standout player for the St. Louis team.
Savins off the left, looking to return it to Chavez, gives it away, and there's no time for a Botafogo counterattack as they take the lead into the halftime break, Garrett, and really it was about continuing to build that pressure, and eventually the dam broke through the set piece.
Yeah, Botafogo certainly the better team over that 45 minutes. Just continued pressure, plenty of chances, and eventually it was the set piece that was the breakthrough as we see so often in this Dallas Cup tournament.
All right, we'll step aside for the halftime break, and we'll be back with your first half highlights and the second half of play in just a little bit. Thank you for joining us here on the Dallas Cup YouTube channel as we're halfway through the opening semifinal in the Gordon Jago Super Group. Botafogo, the defending champions, lead 1-0 over St. Louis City from Toyota Stadium.
Our roots in this game run deep. We've been here, hydrating the grind with 50% more electrolytes. But it's time to raise the bar. This is our game, my game, your game, the beautiful game. From the ground up, we power soccer.
It is not the critic who counts, not the one who points out how the strong woman stumbles, or where the doer or deeds could have done better. The credit belongs to the woman who is actually in the arena, so that her place shall never be with those cold and timid souls, who knew neither victory nor defeat.
The good news was our house sold fast. The bad news was our house sold fast. We were pretty shocked and overwhelmed. What should I do with my stuff? Should I put it in a storage unit? And that's when my daughter said, there's this company called Pods.
They bring the container, you fill the container, and they take the Pods container and put it in a secure place. It was a complete sense of security, knowing that our stuff is safe.
I would definitely recommend moving with Pods.
Welcome you back into Toyota Stadium. 45 minutes in the book here in our first semifinal of Supergroup action. Let's take you through the first half highlights as Botafogo leads 1-0 at the break. And Garrett, it was a half dominated by the Brazilian side, but St. Louis also had their opportunities.
That they did, but it was really mostly Botafogo for me. Early cross there, well dealt with by Brady Cochran, who just got a fingertip to it to take it out of the reach. And then a chance for St. Louis, forcing a solid save that he should make from Mateus Lima in goal. But the set pieces was the story of the day so far for Botafogo. So dangerous. By my very unofficial count, I had 5 corners, and I'm pretty sure Botafogo won all 5 headers. That one there from Alves, kind of a warning shot, forcing a good save from Brady Cochran. Later on, he would have his say on the game.
Yeah, all set up by the shot off the crossbar from Juninho. In the aftermath, they get the free kick, and it was nice service from Molina and the finishing touch from Alves, who finally made one of those set pieces count. Here's another look at it. Just dominant in the air for the Botafogo number 9.
He does a great job there as well, because he's actually jumping away from goal, going backwards. But there's enough pace on the ball for him to just get the forehead to it and direct it into the far corner.
Yeah, we also had the free kick opportunity for St. Louis a little bit later in the half off the crossbar from Oda. That was the closest that the visiting side St. Louis today came in the first half. But Garrett, if you are in that St. Louis huddle right now, what adjustments do you think they need to make outside of shoring up on set pieces where Botafogo has been so dangerous?
It's a great question, because they were really outmatched in a lot of ways by Botafogo in that first half. I think some of it has to come down to just be ready for that physicality. I would say Botafogo really put their stamp on the game with their own physicality, with their strength, with their speed. Botafogo has to know that for the second half and just be a little bit clever, maybe pass the ball a bit quicker, get the ball out of their feet quicker, and just get ready for a physical match, because that's what Botafogo is going to bring.
Yeah, one substitute used for St. Louis City. Still the full slate of 6 substitutes available for Botafogo in the second half. By Garrett's unofficial count, 6 shots for Botafogo in the first half to 3 for St. Louis, who did hit the crossbar on one occasion. We'll step aside for another message from our sponsors here at the Dallas Cup. And in just a moment, we'll be back with the second half of action here from Toyota Stadium. St. Louis looking to get back in this game as Botafogo leads 1-0 at the break.
It is not the critic who counts, not the one who points out how the strong woman stumbles, or where the doer or deeds could have done better. The credit belongs to the woman who is actually in the arena, so that her place shall never be with those cold and timid souls, who knew neither victory nor defeat.
There's a big deal going on at Whataburger, like the new Big Ranch Wrap, a crispy chicken strip, buttermilk ranch, cheese, and fresh veggies in a warm tortilla. Or go bigger with 5 premium Whata chicken bites. Or go bigger than big with our Bacon Cheese Whataburger Jr. with fresh 100% beef and melty cheese. Make it even bigger with fries and a drink for a little more. Now that's a big deal. The Whata deal, now at What a Burger. Download the app.
Whataburger's Bacon Steakhouse Double. Do you need it or do you want it? Do you need creamy steak sauce, crispy fried onions, aged cheddar, and crunchy bacon? Or do you want creamy steak sauce, crispy fried onions, aged cheddar, and crunchy bacon? And want even is a want if we want the want so badly that the want becomes a need. How should I know? I just push the card. Enjoy your burger.
Creamy, crispy, crunchy.
The Whataburger Bacon Steakhouse Double is back. Download the app.
Our roots in this game run deep. We've been here, hydrating the grind with 50% more electrolytes. But it's time to raise the bar. This is our game, my game, your game, the beautiful game. From the ground up, we power soccer.
Welcome in, America. The Premier League season awaits.
A glorious finish by Saka.
At this stage, anything is possible.
Can Liverpool run it back-to-back?
Don't forget about Chelsea.
The Gunners are stacked.
Don't count out United.
Watch out for City. This is truly anyone's season. So no matter who you're cheering for or where you're at, this year's gonna be epic. You'll fit right in.
The good news was our house sold fast. The bad news was our house sold fast. We were pretty shocked and overwhelmed. What should I do with my stuff? Should I put it in a storage unit? And that's when my daughter said, there's this company called Pods.
They bring the container, you fill the container, and they take the pods container and put it in a secure place. It was a complete sense of security, knowing that our stuff is safe.
I would definitely recommend moving with Pods.
Our roots in this game run deep. We've been here, hydrating the grind with 50% more electrolytes. But it's time to raise the bar. This is our game, my game, your game, the beautiful game. From the ground up, we power soccer.
It is not the critic who counts, not the one who points out how the strong woman stumbles, or where the doer or deeds could have done better. The credit belongs to the woman who is actually in the arena, so that her place shall never be with those cold and timid souls, who knew neither victory nor defeat.
Let's go.
The good news was our house sold fast. The bad news was our house sold fast. We were pretty shocked and overwhelmed. What should I do with my stuff? Should I put it in a storage unit? And that's when my daughter said, there's this company called Pods.
They bring the container, you fill the container, and they take the pods container and put it in a secure place. It was a complete sense of security, knowing that our stuff is safe.
I would definitely recommend moving with Pods.
Just moments away from second half kickoff here at Toyota Stadium. Botafogo leading 1-0 here in the Gordon Jago Super Group semifinals. St. Louis City looking to make adjustments at the halftime break, get themselves back into this game. Ryan Figured in the booth alongside Garrett Melser for our first of two games here in Dallas Cup action and the Super Group tonight. We still got Philadelphia and Monterey to come later on tonight, but Garrett 45 minutes ahead. And for St. Louis, it's now or never. Backs against the wall. They've got to come out with some intensity. They've got to match the physicality that we saw from Botafogo in the first half.
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, a huge 45 minutes ahead for St. Louis to keep their dreams of the Dallas Cup alive. And they've definitely got to make some changes because I think they were outcompeted both physically and just mentally a little bit in that first half. This Botafogo team is so savvy. They're so physical. It's going to be very, very tough to compete. But I think St. Louis are perhaps a little bit lucky to find themselves only one goal down considering how that first half went. But that means they're within one, and it shouldn't be too much to get back into it. All it takes is one set piece, as we saw in the first half. No reason St. Louis can't do that too.
Yeah, St. Louis stingy in the group stage. A couple of clean sheets, a couple of 1-0 wins to get to this stage. Playing from behind, looking to come from behind and grab a result for the first time in Dallas Cup play this year. Botafogo, on the other hand, have been playing on the front foot all tournament long. They come into this one riding an 8-game unbeaten streak going back to last year's Dallas Cup when they won the Super Group with a 3-0 final score over Sao Paulo in the championship game. They know how to win these games. They've shown the ability just to manipulate the game a little bit when they're in leading positions and make sure that they end up on the right side of the result. St. Louis will be up against some of that. Need to find a way to create some consistent threat in this second half as we're back underway. Dropped off for Stone Marion and launched long for City. Looks like no personnel changes to spot on either side coming out for the second half as the whistle goes for a foul. Clancy tripped up in midfield. Referee Eduardo Hernandez in the middle, assisted by Ryan Lindskog and Viviana Diaz. There's a giveaway for St. Louis, and now Alves drives forward, options either side. Gets it out wide for Vitinho. Vitinho 1v1, cuts onto his right foot, his cross blocked. And St. Louis can go the other way. Lifted in behind, and a miscue with the back. An opportunity now for Adamitis along the right side. No one up with him. Adamitis goes alone, and Lima makes the save at the near post. First shot on target for the St. Louis City striker.
Yeah, Adamitis essentially had nothing to work off of in terms of service in that first half. Over 45 minutes, and now just within 1 minute, he gets his best chance at the game. A 1v1 opportunity somewhat with the goalkeeper, but a really tight angle still forces a good save from Mateus Lima.
St. Louis goes short from the corner, looking to combine, but it's given away there by Cole Schramm. And Botafogo just clear their lines as Gisto stepped in the passing lane to intercept. Out wide here for Savins, forced back for Chavez. Stone Marion goes long, and this time the contact off the ball is whistled by the referee, and it's a free kick in an attacking position, won by Yu Oda, conceded by Eric, who was warned in the first half. Now he's been booked for some of that away from the play contact.
Yeah, Eduardo Hernandez, our referee, more ready to call those fouls off the ball in this second half. Essentially the first time it's happened, because it happened a lot in that first half, and Botafogo essentially got away with it every single time. This time in the second interval, keeping a closer eye on it.
And the last free kick opportunity, a little closer than this one, but Yu Oda was able to hit the crossbar. Closest St. Louis came in the first half. I think he's going to have something to say standing over this one alongside Emi Chavez. Both players with an opportunity from a set piece in the first half. This one dead center, 31 yards from goal. Chavez steps aside. It's an effort this time from Stone Marion, who's the latest to throw his name in the hat for the set piece. That one's off target.
Yeah, Stone Marion, the center back, probably the least likely to take the free kick in that scenario. Having seen the other two players take that piece in the first half, just doesn't quite get it right. Gets under the ball, skies it well wide and high.
I think Yu Oda is going to stand over the next one if they get another attacking free kick. Looking to lift it wide, but that one's picked off. Kyle Skaggs, the first half substitute, giving possession away there. Now it's lifted out to this near side. Botafogo in transition. Ivan Molina drops it off on the overlap, but Danilo couldn't get his hips around the cross. It floats over the crossbar and out for a goal kick.
Yeah, Danilo frustrated with himself from that. You can hear the shout coming down because he definitely didn't get his foot wrapped around the ball like he wanted to.
Into Adamitis, wins the flick-on header, but too much power on it. Savins can't keep it in play. And we saw Danilo play as a traditional center back. Now they're sort of playing in a hybrid back three, back four. He's the right back against the ball, but stepping in a little bit higher up and wearing the captain's armband. We know he's a big prospect for Botafogo, having already made his first team debut. Ask him to play a different role, and maybe you saw he's not quite as comfortable when he gets forward into the attacking third.
Yeah, just looking at his profile physically, you kind of think center back more than right back, but it doesn't help to get reps in both spots.
Mauricio giving it away there, and Oda's down once again, and then a little bit unnecessary. Janino kicks the ball into the player on the ground, and he's going to pick up a yellow card. He was immediately apologetic, but still, you can't really be doing that.
Yeah, not great from Janino there. He had plenty of time to kick that anywhere else except for the player on the ground. A pretty tough foul as well. Shoulder right into the face of Yu Ota. No surprise he went down after that. And he gets a ball into the back for his troubles.
Yeah, he's already won two pretty physical free kicks in the opening 5 minutes of the second half, and the training staff's going to come on to try and help him out through this pain barrier here.
But that's the kind of physicality, even though it was called correctly for a foul, that St. Louis needs to match, because it's just tough to win a game when you're losing all your individual physical battles, and that's essentially what we saw over the first 45 minutes.
Concern with Oda as we get confirmation of that yellow card for Juninho. 2 quick bookings for Botafogo in the second half, Eric and Juninho. If you think back to their first game in the Super Group at the Cotton Bowl on Sunday, there was a plethora of bookings both ways, yellow cards and red cards between Aston Villa and Botafogo.
Yeah, what we saw on that one was with Botafogo in the lead, they did a great job of making the second half an incredibly stop-start game. Perhaps they try to do that this time around in the semifinal with the 1-0 lead, but with 40 minutes to go, probably a little bit early for that. But I also just think that's the overarching style of this team. They want to be physical, they want to be in your face, and sometimes they might cross the line just a bit, as we saw there with Vitinho picking up the yellow card.
Oda up and walking off the field. We'll see if they look to replace him or if he tries to get back out there to continue. We saw in the first half Christian Nobo get back out there for a couple minutes before he eventually went down and was replaced. Can't question the commitment of these St. Louis players, but you see the jersey being prepared for a potential substitution here as Nono and Nkonkwo look set to enter this game. So second change, both forced through injury for St. Louis. We'll see what Nkonkwo can bring. Looks like he's headed out to the right wing, and they're going to shift Goldstein into the middle of the field now.
Concussion protocol. Entering the field is number 17, Nono Nkonkwo. Leaving the field is number 18.
And we get confirmation over the PA that it was a concussion substitution. So if St. Louis has another player on the bench, they could potentially make an extra change. And Botafogo will be able to as well. Straight into the feet of Adamitis, looking to hold it up. Here's a first look for Nkonkwo. Slips over the ball, but it breaks fortuitously at the top of the box. Adamitis looking to get positioning, gives away the free kick.
I think that's frustration showing through there from Jojo Adamitis, just pulling the jersey pretty obviously, but he's just dealt with so much physicality and so many individual one-on-one duels, and that time just making it too easy for the referee as the defender tried to turn, just grabbed a handful of shirt and pulled him down.
We saw in the first half Adamitis getting his shirt pulled on a potential tap-in opportunity for St. Louis, so he's been on the receiving end of it as well, even when it hasn't been called. As there's another free kick given in the middle of the field.
Much higher bar for a shirt pull to be a foul for an attacker versus a defender when it's in their own box.
Juninho receives it wide here on the right. And Chavez, some nice individual defending, comes away with the ball, can't find a teammate. And not a foul whistled against Stone Marion, but just concern for Ivan Molina, who took either the ball or a foot to the face as he sort of stooped low to try and control the ball.
Certainly looked like a ball to the face, and yeah, it's just the side foot volley there from Stone Marion, catching Molina straight in the face, and you know that's going to be a sore one.
Well, St. Louis just had to make a concussion sub, and wonder if Botafogo might have to do the same here as Molina is getting checked out. Number 8 for Botafogo is a Venezuela Youth International. He's played sort of all across the front line as they've been interchanging throughout the game so far. You've seen Juninho and Vitinho swapping wings, Molina popping out wide as well. Really the one consistent player in terms of positioning in the attack for Botafogo is Alves, who's been that focal point, number 9. Good to see Molina up to his feet. Referee going to make sure he gets checked out before he resumes play.
And from Botafogo's perspective, Molina is such an important player because of his set-piece delivery. That's how they got their goal, but also how they fashioned some of their best chances in that first half as well.
And he's immediately ready to get back into this game once he's waved on. Good sign as the Botafogo number 8 is back out on the field as we played 10 minutes of the second half. Without much action in front of goal either way. Here's Nkonkwo looking to change that, puts the ball in behind. Schramm's forward from right back. His cross blocked, but it's out for a St. Louis corner.
Been very impressed with Schramm getting up and down that right flank. Done some really good defensive work on Juninho, which is not easy, but also helping out his side in the attack there, forcing a corner after attempting a low cross.
St. Louis with a couple players threatening to go short here from the corner. We saw them try something off the training ground last time. I know they're giving up the height advantage in this game. 2 arms raised on the far side for Goldstein. Plenty of air underneath this one towards the back post, and it does break fortuitously for Stone Marion, who put the ball back across, couldn't find a teammate. And that's a big opportunity for St. Louis, getting creative on the set plays, even when they're down in terms of the height matchup here. Goldstein giving it away and forced into cynical tactical foul there. Just a tug of the jersey to stop Alves from breaking free.
Yeah, and that's a yellow card that he'll take because he essentially had to foul right there after giving it away and giving his back line essentially a 2v2 situation, one of those players being the goal scorer, Samuel Alves. You don't want to see him running at you, so probably the right decision there from Sammy Goldstein, just to grab the jersey, take him down, and take the yellow card for your side.
It wasn't easy to take him down, even though it was completely cynical. Really had to give him a good pull. Saw the physical attributes of Alves, particularly on the goal. Just too strong and able to jump high to match that as well. Here's a switching ball. Botafogo retrieved by Molina. Gets it back along the near side. Off that pass behind Mauricio, but they keep it alive. Lifted in behind, looking for Alves. Volleyed clear by Marion. Out for a Botafogo throw. Into the chest of Juninho, tried to lift it back towards Molina. They'll keep possession here between the midfield pairing. Pedro Martin's able to turn, but asked a lot of Gustavo Gisto with that one.
Unlucky from Martins there because it was a really nice turn, just essentially selling his defender with a body feint and letting the ball run across his body to open up the space, but then he gets the outlet pass all wrong, just putting it behind and high.
Well, I'll tell you what, Eric, who's already been booked, is very lucky not to pick up a second yellow card there as the ball bounced out and St. Louis was trying to take the throw quickly. He just kicked the ball away, and we've seen that given as a second yellow card at all levels across the world. Just a talking to that time. Not real, meaningful appeals from the St. Louis City side, but yeah, he's towing the line right now. As the ball's out to Nkonkwo on the far side. There's no inside the box. Sets it back to the top of the box. Junt trying for a Cruyff back heel move to find a teammate, gives it away, and now a chance maybe to break. Out to Vitinho on the far side. Vitinho just going to take his man 1v1 here onto his right foot, whipped it in all the way through. Breaks for Alves at the back post. Alves chipping it up to himself to split the double team. And now the shot from distance takes a big deflection. And good work there from Cochran to prevent the corner.
Preventing a corner is almost as good as saving a penalty when we know how good Botafogo is off of those opportunities. Good work from Cochran there.
And throwing it out to Goldstein, who wins a foul quickly. And they go quickly with the Botafogo players still down. Referee allows play to continue. 4v4 for the moment. Nkonkwo, low ball in towards Adamitis is a decent one, but Lima comes out to claim. And now the referee will stop the play to go back and check on the Botafogo player who's getting to his feet.
Looks like the goalkeeper, Mateus Lima, as well, potentially down, stretching that left leg. He was on the ground a lot in their opening game against Aston Villa, as we saw. I think this is the first time we've seen him down in this one, though.
I think really just taking an opportunity to get some one-on-one FaceTime with the referee and make his complaint. That play was allowed to continue, but both Botafogo players back to their feet now as we reach the hour mark here in the semifinal. St. Louis still looking for a response to that Alves goal in the first half. Here's Savins, has a goal in the tournament so far. Gets it out wide to Nwankwo. Nwankwo showing some good feet there and winning a free kick. This one probably outside of shooting range, but another chance to get bodies forward. They lift it out wide quickly. Goldstein sets it back now for Schramm. Schramm, entry ball into Nwankwo. Nwankwo back to Schramm, corner of the 18, looking for options. It's now the opportunity for Clancy to try and turn and went for the back heel instead. It's repelled. Breaks back from Marion, lifted in on the diagonal. Again looking for Clancy, but over his head.
Better from St. Louis there, kind of pinning Botafogo into their own box. Some really nice passing from Cole Schramm and the substitute Nono Nwankwo, just finding little gaps and little spaces in the box. Unfortunately for St. Louis, none of the forwards able to turn on the ball to have a side of goal.
Yeah, it feels like we saw that last ball lifted forward. Really, they can't get desperate like that because they're giving up so much height in those aerial battles against the Botafogo center backs. Need to stick to what has been working, which is some of those combinations, getting it out wide, particularly on the far side. Try and create chances as opposed to just launching it long. Adamitis can hold his own maybe 1v1, but he's not been dominant by any stretch. So there's a miscue for Botafogo, giving St. Louis a cheap throw in there. Out wide for Nwankwo, who's made an impression since coming in. Took a heavy touch there. Now fighting to try and get back on it, but Pedro Martins maintains hold of possession. Alves, back heel, back out for Vitinho. Vitinho always wanted to come in onto his right foot if he can. Runs into Nwankwo and gets a throw instead. A little bit loose with it there from the throw, but St. Louis unable to connect that first pass. Some small mistakes creeping into the game for Botafogo, who've not really threatened much in the second half after building a lot of pressure in the opening 45 and getting that opening goal.
They are a side that do seem very content with a slim lead like they have here.
Oh, here's a giveaway in the middle. Savin's onto it. Finds the feet of Adamitis. Set down now for Goldstein. Goldstein out wide right, looking for a lane to shoot. Unable to find that lane is Alex Junt. And now Botafogo look to spring something in transition. Out wide for Danilo. Danilo pestered all the way, gets it wide for Molina. Molina, ball in behind for Danilo. And good tracking there for Marion. He'll concede the throw.
Crucial interception there from Marion with two Botafogo players bearing down on him. You take a corner, having seen that scenario every time.
Danilo's throw is repelled by Marion. They'll do it again.
And they'll take their time doing it.
Surprised, really, that Botafogo hasn't opted to go with a long throw very often, considering the success they've had on set pieces with that height advantage. This time it breaks from Molina just inside the 18. Molina trying to beat two defenders, ends up giving it away, and it'll be a goal kick. As we've got a change for both sides coming now. It's Davi Neri coming in on the wing for Botafogo. And on the other side, we've got Dubé and Nwankwo. You assume there's some relation there, as they were 16 and 17 now, both out on the field together for St. Louis. So a swap for Botafogo on the wings, and looks like something similar for St. Louis. Vitinho's off for Neri for the Brazilian side.
Also in the 65th minute, we have a substitution for St. Louis. Entering the field is number 16, Dubé Nwankwo.
And a swap up top as Adamitis is replaced by Dubé and Nwankwo. So Nwankwo and Nwankwo looking to combine in the attack now for St. Louis. There's a chance for Nono on the far side. Dubé makes a sprint towards the back post. Nono, drop of the shoulder, beats his man with ease. Now a low ball sent into the penalty spot, nobody home. And St. Louis Navy, Savin's closest to it. These substitutes really making an impact going forward for St. Louis, but Botafogo looking for a potential dagger going the other way. So ball sent in for Janino. His first touch popped up on him. And well marshaled that situation by Cole Schramm. A giveaway immediately in midfield from Junt. Now again, the ball ahead to Janino. Janino bending ball off his right foot. Headed at the near post. It's going to break back out here for the recent substitute, Davineri. 2 defenders on him. Up against the corner flag, looking for a way out. And he's won a corner. Best he really could have hoped for in that situation.
Yeah, never easy. Forced into the corner, facing the flag with 2 defenders on your back. You take the corner for sure, especially considering how you scored the opening goal.
Molina absolutely in no hurry to get across to take it. Will be something that the referee has to monitor the rest of the way as long as Botafogo's leading.
Maybe some naivety from St. Louis right now. Their captain should be absolutely speaking to the referee saying, hey, look, can we speed this up, please?
2 arms raised for Molina, already with an assist this evening. Another ball whipped in right on top of the 6-yard box. Keeper comes, doesn't get to it, gets a touch, and then it's steered home from point-blank range. And another set-piece service, difficult for Cochran to deal with. And ultimately, in the aftermath, it's stabbed home from just a yard or so out.
And it's Marcelo Mauricio once again scoring from close range as he did against Aston Villa. But it's a set piece. Again, Botafogo just so dangerous in those situations. Brady Cochran in goal will probably want that one back. He had 2 bites at the apple, but couldn't get the ball under control. And it's Marcelo Mauricio, Johnny on the spot, to put the ball in athletically, I might add.
Yeah, it was a tap-in, but it was a fantastically executed tap-in with a little bit of flair for Mauricio, who's now got a couple of goals, 2 very similar goals for him, showing the poacher's instinct inside the box. And that second goal feels like it makes a very long way back for St. Louis now. They're going to try and make a change in the aftermath of the goal to bring in Cruz Gonzalez, another attacking player here. See who's going to be replaced.
St. Louis substitution in the 69th minute. Entering the game is number 11, Cruz Gonzalez. Leaving the game is number 13.
Alex Junt, the player replaced. So both starting central midfielders in front of Trip Clancy have now headed to the bench for St. Louis as they try and get attacking options on the field. Teo Savins been in there from the start along this left wing. Gets past his man, cut back ball. Looking for Gonzalez, the recent substitute. Couldn't find him. And that one sent well clear out for a St. Louis throw, which they'll look to take quickly. Chavez, though, didn't like the initial options. I'm going to slow it down and continue to survey. Eventually going back. St. Louis going to recycle possession. As Goldstein's now playing it deeper in midfield. With all the attacking options up off the bench. One quote, wide on the far side. Shown an ability to beat his man, certainly since coming on. Trying to find a way around the outside. Does keep it in play. Goes down as that one's lifted towards the back post over everybody's head. But if there's one route to a goal right now for St. Louis City, it feels like Nono and Nwankwo might be able to find it.
Yeah, showed great feet there and beat 2 defenders in the box. I don't think it was a foul. The ball was quite gone, and I think he was kind of looking for it, kind of jumped over the tackle that was incoming. But since coming on, he's really been a bright spot for this St. Louis attack.
Alves trying to juggle it to himself, gives it away in the middle of the field. Goldstein moves it on for Nwankwo, then gets it back. Neither one really maintaining possession well there. It's Molina restores possession for Botafogo. Here's a ball over the top, looking for the run of Juninho. Defended by Marion, but right back towards the St. Louis end. Juninho, a couple of step overs. Lifted into the box for Alves. Alves back out wide. Gisto, ball in towards the back post over everybody's head. It'll be retrieved by Neri near the corner flag on the near side. It's Danilo, this time with a good ball in towards the back post. Nwankwo and Alves in a sprint for it. And Nwankwo wins the foul. Brings it into that Botafogo attack. Taken quickly, taken short. Goldstein looking to advance it along the far side, holding the defender off on his back and winning another foul. Cruz Gonzalez, first chance for him to get involved, and Nwankwo now tripped up, and he's a little tic-tac foul starting to add up from a Botafogo perspective. She's still called for it that time.
And I think that's the game plan. Whenever this team has a lead late in the second half, or really any time in the second half, they're going to try to make the game chippy, make it stop-start, and not let their opponent get into the flow of the game, really slow down that chance creation.
You can see now the disciplined defensive alignment for the Brazilian club. Tough low block to break down for St. Louis City. They'll recycle it here across the back line. Kyle Skaggs out wide for Schramm, left it a little bit short of his right back there, and turning it over as Molina able to intercept, and then through the contact win a foul.
And Botafogo will be happy with that. Anytime they can win back possession and then immediately win a foul, they'll be pleased. And certainly take another 15, 20 seconds off the clock.
Still coming up later on from Toyota Stadium here on the Dallas Cup YouTube channel, we've got the Philadelphia Union, who were the winners of Bracket C with the St. Louis City side, as they take on Rayados from Monterrey in the other semifinal. Gonzalez just huddling on the ball a little bit in midfield and punished for it. Turned over by Pedro Martins, who then wins a free kick. Molina lifting it out wide for Neri. Davi Neri onto his left foot, takes the shot early, looking to make an impression, having come into this game in the second half, but pretty comfortable that time for Cochran. Cole Schramm looking to go into the feet of Nwankwo, couldn't hold it up. Be out for a Botafogo throw on the far side. And we're well on their way to making it 9 straight games unbeaten in Dallas Cup play, spanning across 2 seasons. There's a loose touch from Juninho. They're looking to become just the 6th back-to-back champions in Supergroup play. Nobody's done it since Tigres in 2018 and 2019. St. Louis still with eyes on potentially making this one interesting down the stretch. And Nwankwo 1 against 2, and Nwankwo out in some open space, slips over the ball just as he entered the penalty area. And that's a big let-off for the Brazilians.
Yeah, so unlucky from Nwankwo going up against his defenders. Had them beaten for pace, but just trod right on the ball. Sometimes that happens. But I really like what both Nwankwos have brought to the game. They brought some pace and directness to the St. Louis side that was desperately missing it. Jojo Adamantis certainly battled well and battled hard in the first half, but didn't offer much in terms of getting in behind this Botafogo back line. Something that the Nwankwos have certainly done since coming in.
Coming together there between Marion and Alves. Botafogo bench didn't like it, but play on. 15 minutes to go now in the semifinal. What does St. Louis have left in their legs to try and go and chase this game, knowing the threat that Botafogo can offer on the counterattack? And they thought about stepping up the pressure there, as Juninho eventually is whistled for the free kick. Taken quickly. Given away by Cruz Gonzalez. Here's a chance maybe on the counter, but header won by Skaggs. And Gonzalez gets the second chance at it. This time he does find Goldstein in between the lines. Goldstein options either side. Goldstein goes alone. Shot blocked by Eric. Fight for the second ball. And the St. Louis number 10 whistled for a foul. And the yellow card is out, as the referee had played advantage for the contact on Stone Marion.
It's for the goal scorer, Samuel Alves. Left a little bit on Marion in that challenge. And Marion got up and thought about confronting Alves and thought better of it.
And not only, given the situation of the game, wouldn't have been wise. I don't think it would be wise at any point.
No, business decision from both sides of the spectrum there.
Lima will step up to take this one. Hasn't really been called into action all too often. The best chance for St. Louis hit the crossbar without needing a touch from the goalkeeper. He did have one save early in each half. Good work there from Skaggs to step in front of Juninho. Here's Nwankwo. Couldn't connect with a teammate there. Sent skyward, skewing back towards the Botafogo goal. Second ball break for Gonzalez, but can't connect with Savins. Brought forward by Danilo, scooped ahead. Can't reach Alves. Chavez goes all the way back for Cochran. St. Louis playing through the Botafogo pressure. And now Chavez brings it up the near side. Looking for Nwankwo, trying to hold it up. And here's Savins now with a lot of space along the left wing. Closed down by Eric. Savins gets to his left foot. Low shot is comfortable for Lima.
Well, good hold-up play there from Dube Nwankwo. Just getting the ball, getting on the turn, then putting it into space for Savins. Just couldn't quite connect correctly with that left-footed effort. Very tame in the end for Mateus Lima.
A goal in the next few minutes would make the final 10-plus stoppage time very interesting. Botafogo have been pressed throughout the group stage of this tournament. It took a 100th minute equalizer for them to avoid defeat against the Houston Dynamo Academy. But they've also spent a lot of time in these situations with a multi-goal lead, just controlling the pace of the game, and that's what they'll look to do the rest of the way here. Here's Cruz Gonzalez, left-footed ball whipped in, decent shape on it, but way out in front of the run of Nwankwo, and it'll go out for a goal kick.
Yeah, it's the right idea there. Good left-footed, low cross, looking for the pace of Nwankwo to get in behind. Just let him by 3 to 4 yards too much.
Referee's whistle encouraging Lima to take it. He does tap it over to Lira. Danilo down the line for Juninho. Alves trying to hold it up. Sorry, that's Neri, and that's great feet from Davi Neri. Looking for Juninho on the overlap. Sliding tackle puts it out for a Botafogo throw.
Impressive from Neri, getting out of a situation where he had 3 St. Louis players on him. It's just good battling there from the winger.
Well, Juninho's day is done. He hit the crossbar, leading to that opening goal from the free kick. Held off the score sheet here. It certainly had an impact throughout the 90 minutes. And he's replaced by Luan Gabriel. We'll play in that off-striker role for the Brazilian side. There's a nutmeg from Danilo on Cruz Gonzalez. Allows them out of pressure and out to the other side. Pedro Martins pinpoint switch for Danilo. Here's Neri now with the confidence of that neat little move a couple moments ago. We've Got an overload on the near side as Marcelo Mauricio whips this one in over the head of the forwards, but breaks at the back post for Molina. Gisto, first time cross in towards Alves, and there's another save from Cochran as it was Neri up off the bench looking to put this one to bed with a third goal.
Great ball from Gisto. Tons of curl, tons of whip on that one. Finding the head there of Luan Gabriel, I believe.
It was Gabriel straight into the game. His first meaningful touch could have been the third goal in this game. Sets up a corner kick instead.
Didn't quite get the contact right. Ended up going off the top of his head essentially, but still on frame and a good save from Brady Cochran.
Molina, this time to the penalty spot. Initial contact knocked down, and now fired through traffic by Danilo. I've got another corner, this time from the near side. Just a remarkable success rate for Botafogo, and obviously the goal, or the two goals, both from set pieces, but also just winning the first contact every single time. A lot of that down to the service, and also the physicality and the height in this team. Here's another chance for Ivan Molina. This time an in-swinger. Towards the back post and headed back across into the danger area. But maybe a chance for St. Louis on the break as they repel that second effort. And Goldstein had to dodge one errant sliding tackle. Thought they might bring it back for a foul, but he ended up running himself up a blind alley. Eventually Lima puts it out for a St. Louis throw. Clancy looking to get turned in the middle. Chavez quickly advancing it down the line for Savins. Savins left-footed cross sent in. Doesn't look like anybody's really expecting the early ball. Still not cleared though. Goldstein keeping it alive. Eventually Neri sends it down the field, and Cochran will retrieve.
Needing a goal, if not two, in these late stages. You expect St. Louis to go long like they do there. Unfortunately, that has not been the route to success so far against this Botafogo side, just knowing the edge they have in the physical duels and in the height. I think St. Louis has a better chance trying to play through them rather than going over the top of them, but late in the game, as the teams get more desperate, it becomes harder to avoid that urge.
Kobe Hamler going to be the next St. Louis substitute into this game at the next stoppage. Botafogo coaching staff in conversations, see if they want to match it with a change of their own. Here's Luan Gabriel. Moving from left to right, drops it off for Mauricio. Davi Neri, sweet feet from the winger, left into the box, and Cochran, uncontested, is able to make the catch. Quickly firing it out to Goldstein. This time playing it slow after a couple of unsuccessful counter-attack opportunities for City's number 10. Plenty of space here for Chavez. Turns and finds Clancy. Savins in between the lines. Wide again with Chavez. Savins looking to get turned, try and find Chavez, but gives it away, and the break may be on here. Alves driving past halfway. Botafogo number 9,
Wow.
Great work there. Skips past Stone Marion into the box now, and Alves shot blocked. As that would have been something, a real special moment for Alves to try and get his second of the game denied. And now maybe going the other way in Nwankwo, but he's beaten to it by Eric.
That's a side of Samuel Alves that we haven't really seen so far. We've seen his physical battling, we've seen his one-touch finishing, his ability in the air, but that time just his ability with his feet. Lovely little mazy dribble, getting the nutmeg as well. he's just a difficult forward to deal with. So much to his game. Certainly a great prospect that we have the joy of watching tonight.
There was a foul given against Botafogo in the center circle, and Lima's managed to injure himself without much action. He's down right now inside the 18 for the Brazilian club.
I think he's gone to ground more often than he's made saves tonight.
And here comes that latest change with Kobe Hamler in to replace Goldstein. Struggled to really create chances. That's what you expect out of whoever wears the number 10 shirt. See if Hamler can bring something in these final 5 minutes, plus what should be a decent chunk of stoppage time.
Yeah, Goldstein for large parts of this game was just kind of marked out of the game with physicality. He looked like a tidy player, had decent speed, had some good ideas, but more often than not, when he'd take his second, third, fourth touches on the ball, there was a Botafogo or two players around him just muscling him out of the way. It's just a tough thing to deal with, especially for these U.S. sides that maybe haven't faced this type of opponent quite as often.
There's only been 2 American champions across over 40 years of the Dallas Cup Supergroup. That was Dallas Texans back in 2006, FC Dallas in 2017. And the FC Dallas team boasting plenty of future professionals, future U.S. internationals in the ranks. That's what it took to finally get it done. There's 2 MLS Next sides in the semifinal this year. We'll see Philadelphia Union here in just about an hour's time. But it looks like it may be up to the Union to try and carry the banner for MLS Next, unless St. Louis has something late in this game. Savins poking it forward, can't connect. Repelled back, retrieved by Marion. Amy Chavez looking for Nwankwo. Ball spinning way up in the air. Awkward one to deal with. Eric rises highest. Second ball won by St. Louis in the middle. It's Trip Clancy. And Nwankwo, first time ball, couldn't connect with Savins.
Needless little flick attempt there from Nwankwo. He had the runner out wide. He could have just played a left-footed one-touch pass to get him into space. Instead, tries to go for a little fancy flick. Certainly did not come off and just gave possession right back to Botafogo. Well, I'm sure we're quite appreciative in the moment.
Looks like 2 more changes coming for the black and white. Whoa. Samuel Alves with some vigor behind that towards his own bench. Luckily didn't hit anybody with that kind of power.
He's the type of player that does everything full force, including clearances at his own team.
Emi Chavez, some space at left back. Down the line for Savins, quickly closed down by Danilo. First chance to get turned for Hamler. The attack breaks down again. About to see how much time is added on to the 90 minutes as well. There's been quite a few stoppages. A couple of injury stoppages as well, notably for Lima in goal for Botafogo. Cochran waving Stone Marion forward. Both teams now with changes ready and waiting to enter this game. Marion out to Chavez. Been a little disappointing that after that initial impression from Nono and Nwankwo, we'll get to that in just a moment. Here's a good ball over the top. A chance now for Cruz Gonzalez off the crossbar. And man, it may just not be St. Louis's night. They've now hit the woodwork twice.
See it again. It's a great ball over the top and a bouncing chance from Cruz Gonzalez. It's the right technique. Just gets it a little too high and can't beat the crossbar.
Going the other way, it was a chance maybe on the break for Luan Gabriel, but he's called for a foul. Now those changes will come in. Owen Chapman on for St. Louis. Luis Matias and Martin Saitano in for the final moments for Botafogo. I was going to say, though, it felt like Nono Nwankwo was the route to potentially creating chances for St. Louis. Had a good 5 or 10 minute spell where he had the beating of his man and hasn't really seen the ball since. Maybe credit to Botafogo for keeping it away from him, but a lot of the buildup for City has been on this near side. They had chances, not plentiful, but went close twice throughout the game. Could have potentially grabbed a goal or two to make this interesting down the stretch off the crossbar. Alves, the goal scorer in the first half, replaced. Eric also replaced both players on a yellow card. Sensible there from the Botafogo staff just to protect those players from potentially missing the final as we're heading into 7 minutes added on. That's painful to see for St. Louis, who could have been right back in this game with plenty of time to try and chase the equalizer. Now they've got it all to do. Here's Cruz Gonzalez, who just hit the crossbar into the 18 along the right side. Was looking for a corner kick, but good work there to keep it to just a throw.
Great defending from Pedro Martins there. Getting goal side, seeing the long touch and getting the clearance there out for a throw instead of the corner.
Schramm winning it back high up the field. Here's Nwankwo, a chance on the dribble. Getting to the byline, lifting the cross in. Initially repelled, breaks again for Schramm. Corner of the 18, Gonzalez, loose touch, has to go back now. And we've played just about 2 of the 7 minutes added on. They'll swing it through Owen Chapman. Come on late at center back in this game. Stone Marion giving a more attacking role. Fired into the feet of Nwankwo. Nwankwo just can't connect with a teammate, gives it away to Luan Gabriel. Luan Gabriel back for Gisto. Impressive energy late in this game for somebody like Cole Schramm, who's played the entirety of the 90 minutes. Still pressing, still looking for something late on. But he's caught out of position here as Luan Gabriel sprints forward on the far side. 2 runners to his right. 3 step overs. Now set back for Molina. Molina scooped out to Gabriel. Flag goes up as the back heel attempt was saved anyway from Neri.
Yeah, Luan Gabriel made the right run there, just drifted a little bit offside. The pass came somewhat late. But Botafogo now in the driver's seat. Happy to kill time.
Cochran putting everything he can behind this one. Challenge for it. This is a successful one there for Marion. Staying forward from a center back role. Cruz Gonzalez now. Thought about lining up a shot from distance, but just slipped over the ball. Not the first time that a City player has had a very unfortunately timed slip tonight. And now Molina, the latest to show his stamina late in the game with a sprint behind the back line. Unable to get on it. Chapman finding Clancy in the middle. Unable to turn there is Hamler. Brought forward by Pedro Martins. Physical tackle there from Hamler on the retreat. And they'll bring it back for a free kick for Botafogo halfway through stoppage time. Referee indicating there was an arm raised there.
Yeah, Kobe Hamler is protesting, but I'm not sure why. It certainly looked like a foul. You'd expect with just 3 minutes remaining that Botafogo will take their time on this.
Well, the story of the day was set pieces, certainly for Botafogo. Maybe one last opportunity for a cherry on top from a restart. It's been Ivan Molina all night. Off his left foot, they created the first goal for Alves in the first half and for Mauricio on the follow-up in the second. Molina this time gets it wrong, saved his worst for last.
Well, he's having about 12 opportunities from set pieces to deliver the ball, and all of them have been essentially perfect until that one. He'll want that one back, but regardless, a great day out from the number 8, Ivan Molina.
Looks like there'll be one more day out before Botafogo returns home. Looking to go back-to-back Supergroup final on Sunday. We'll have it for you here on the Dallas Cup YouTube channel, of course. Will they face the Philadelphia Union, or will it be Monterrey? That's still to be decided later on tonight in our second semifinal. St. Louis looking for something to take home with them here in the semifinal. And going down looking for a foul is Stone Marion, and the referee not happy with the attempt to win it. That was maybe a center back doing something that plenty of players have probably done to him over the years and trying to buy a foul inside the 18.
Yeah, certainly trying to exaggerate any contact, if there was any whatsoever. Well spotted by the referee as simulation, and yellow card rightfully handed out.
Sent long there and headed out for a Botafogo throw. Well, we've seen now 180 minutes of Botafogo here in our broadcasted games, the opener at the Cotton Bowl and now the semifinal, Garrett. It feels like we haven't really seen them get out of second or third gear. They have just done such a good job over these two games of getting the lead, using set pieces to their advantage, and then just managing it the rest of the way.
Yeah, they're an interesting team in terms of from open play. They don't really seem to have a settled system other than find Samuel Alves however they can, and usually that's through set pieces. They've been incredibly dangerous from that. It seems like they win the first ball almost every time it's swung into the box. And also, once they have the lead, it's just so hard to get it back from them. They do a great job of breaking up play, legally and illegally, but staying within the confines of no red cards or anything like that so far. They just seem like a very savvy, very mature team, and it's no wonder that they're the defending champions.
Maybe looking for something late on here. Pedro Martins dispossessed. As the final seconds tick down, Kobe Hamler sends it the other way out to Nwankwo. Referee seems content to let the play continue here. As Nwankwo is dispossessed by Gisto, had a really good game for the most part at left back. As Botafogo rotated a little bit in this semifinal, looking to use the entire squad and stay fresh over the course of 5 games in 7 days, heading towards the Super Group final tomorrow. We'll get one last yellow card, and it's for Owen Chapman, the substitute.
Great little touch there from Martin Caetano. Little inside of the foot flick to himself, made the defender, and he felt the contact and went down.
Looks like we're going to see Botafogo fail to score 3 goals for the first time in the tournament. Well, they won't mind it, as they also look on their way to their first clean sheet here in the 2026 Dallas Cup. Matias Lima sends it long, and that will do it. Botafogo is bound for the Dallas Cup final, looking to repeat the feat as champions as they were in 2025. For St. Louis, it was their best ever finish in the Dallas Cup Super Group and just their second ever appearance. And Garrett, they showed some quality. They hit the woodwork twice, but ultimately it felt like the savviness and the physicality of Botafogo was a step too far for them on the day.
Yeah, they'll be disappointed, of course, going out at this stage, but I think in most areas of the game they were a bit outclassed. They did have their chances, the 2 crossbars. Of course, you know, they'll want to have those opportunities back, but at the end of the day, I think it's the correct team going through to the final. Botafogo, impressive in so many areas of the game, especially on the physical side of the game. St. Louis just really had no match for the speed and mostly the strength and the height of this Botafogo side. It's going to take a very, very good team to beat them in the final on Sunday.
Well, we'll see. We're about to find out if it'll be Philadelphia or Monterrey. Stick with us here on the Dallas Cup YouTube channel for that second semifinal. But this one ends at Toyota Stadium. Botafogo 2 with goals from Alves and Mauricio. St. Louis City 0. And Botafogo is headed to the Dallas Cup Super Group final here once again.